Okay, so on to Brazil. I mean, it's been a really interesting time in Brazil recently. Since the start of last week, mass protests have swept the country from big cities to little towns. And, what is this about? Well, basically, the government had unveiled plans to increase public transport fare in Sao Paulo by 20 cents. And oh my goodness, the reaction that this news was met with. People were really angry. They stormed the streets and they felt like the government was neglecting the public transport system, which is atrocious. Apparently, Brazilians can spend up to a third of their salary getting to and from work. The people also protesting against the fact that their healthcare system they feel is really rubbish. And basically the sentiment was, how can you be spending so much money on stadiums for next year's World Cup, but you're ignoring the public transport, you're ignoring the public health? I mean, how can you put in so much money into this event you're hosting when we have to deal with this public transport and the public health for the rest of our lives? And so obviously people took to the streets to vent their frustrations about this. And you know what? The spending on the stadiums, it does seem really excessive. It's been estimated right now that Brazil has already spent over 4 times as much as South Africa, the previous host, have spent. So honestly, you can see why people are angry. I mean, on Friday, their President Dilma, she gave a speech where she promised to make changes, but the whole speech, the general tone of the speech was very vague. She didn't actually highlight any actual targets that she wanted to meet. She didn't propose any plans, how she was going to fulfill her promises. I mean, it was a mess. And Brazilians, they could see through this horrendous speech because the next day they were back at their protesting, and I think that's great for them. I mean, I won't lie, right now the Brazilian economy, it's in a ditch. The growth is well, it's not very low, but it's not as high as it was before. Right now it's like what, 0.9%, 1.2%, but not so many years ago it was up to 4%. So you can see that the economy is stuck in a glitch. But on the whole, life in Brazil, it's been very good. It's had such a dramatic improvement over the past 10 years. The minimum wage has increased. Unemployment is at its lowest. It's been estimated that 30 million Brazilians have been pulled out of poverty. In the past 10 years, the middle class has swollen to well over 40 million people. The inequality gap is slowly but surely closing. I mean, things look good for Brazil, but that's why I love the Brazilians so much, and I love what they're doing right now, because they're like, yes, okay, things have been good in the past 10 years, but we still want more. They're fighting for their rights. They're fighting for what's theirs. I like the fact that they understand what the government can do for them, and that they're not going to let the government do anything but that. They're not going to settle for less. And I really wish the rest of the world could adopt this module. I really wish the rest of us would know that it's okay to say you want more. It's okay to understand what is rightfully yours and lay claim to it. So good on Brazil. Hopefully the government will step up their game, because in response to the protests so far, they have pulled the plans to increase the public transport fare, and there have been cutbacks in public transport in 8 other cities, but they can do a lot more than this, and I hope that the Brazilian people can push them to do so. Okay, see you later.